All right, everybody, Jim V here. Time for a new video. I actually did a kind of short version of this over on TikTok, on Instagram recently, and I thought I would do a longer, more detailed version of this here on my YouTube channel. So welcome, everybody. This is kind of a interesting concept to talk about because it's going to work at dual levels. And the first thing I would ask before I even start the video is, we all have different levels of how we receive. Whether we can feel loved and we receive abundance from the universe, emotional, financial, familial, success-wise, we all have a gauge for that. And some of us have that really strong. Some of us have some struggle with that, which is not an uncommon thing. So what I want to talk about in today's video is going to kind of serve two purposes. One, to just explain it to anybody to understand this concept and how to heal it. And also for people that are tarot readers or studying tarot or have an interest in it, this is going to serve dual purpose because what I'm going to talk about is connected with one of the archetypal cards in the tarot of the 22 major archetypal cards. And this one is the Empress. We'll talk about it both upright and reverse. So again, you won't need tarot knowledge to follow along here, but I'm going to add a little for those who are studiers and interested in that. Okay, so the concept behind the Empress card is it's a feminine energy, and there are two really notably archetypal symbols within the tarot that explain feminine energy. One is the High Priestess, which is more of the nurturing, mysterious energy, a female energy. And then there is the Empress. And the Empress card, certainly in its upright position, or again, when it's upright for us, when that energy is working, it means growth, it means abundance, the ability to give and receive love. It's connected with emotional, financial prosperity. Very strong connotations to the energy pattern behind this, even in the card, to motherhood, to the female ability to have creative talents, to have that fertility that is innate to the female principle in its expanded type of a way. So the most simple explanation for this, again, in a very, very positive sense, is we all have different levels of how we learned how to accept abundance and how to receive in our life. And for some of us, that's really, really strong. If you were raised and told that you're beautiful and you're wonderful and you're talented, you're more likely to have developed that kind of belief about the self, that the things you touched you can ultimately turn to gold, that you care about, a belief in your own fertility, a belief in your own sense of abundance and that feeling of deserving it. That can apply again to lots of different areas. So this is a wonderful archetypal card when on and working effectively for people, because it means that you have your ability to receive is strong. Think of it almost like, it's one thing to learn how to receive. It's also to have the vehicle yourself be able to take that in abundance. And I'm going to get into some of the negatives to this because it'll be very enlightening, I think, for a lot of people to understand where the limitations come from. But even like if you study Druid teachings and they talk about animal totems and things of that nature, a lot of the references to God as goddess. And often the explanation is in order to receive abundance and love and caring and success and food and health and happiness, there's nothing you need to do. It means it's provided by the universe naturally, and we just have to be open to receiving it. And that is very much what this Empress card energy encompasses in us. It's connected to the Venus principle. Okay, now let's talk about the difficult side of the Empress card. For many of us, this can be areas that are blocked, where we have difficulty receiving. So in the tarot sense, the Empress card reversed means block feelings, like sometimes planting seeds on soiled ground, or the seeds don't grow right away in different areas of life. Often it's connected with difficulty receiving. Tests in relationships, wanting them to expand when they don't, which can sometimes turn to internalized anger or hurt. So the Empress reverse to me is a very, very common thing I found with working with clients for many years. We have different elements of this in our life, depending on how we were raised and what we were taught. So for many of us, like I was use my quick example of my own life. I was raised Catholic, and this isn't putting any shade on Catholicism because there were good things about Catholicism too. But it was sort of taught to be very small, very in the background, not to be too big for your britches, so to speak, to be small. And my parents eventually acquired wealth over time, but it had to sort of be done slowly because, like, things coming too easy almost was something that they didn't approve of. You had to work hard for everything. And while there's nothing wrong with working hard, there was an element of that type of thing being suspect. Even I often use that example too. Even both my parents were very attractive, and my sisters, of course, just from the genetic angle, were growing into blossoming women. And my mother kind of made them feel bad about it. She was losing her beauty; they were gaining theirs, and so there was some struggle that I saw within the family. Even though my mother was a wonderful mother, she had her own tests as well. So I bring this up because, using a personal example, is sometimes with religion or familial programming, we have blockades in that way. Sometimes we're taught if you are the quote unquote wrong race, or you're the wrong religion, or you don't come from the right financial background, or you're gay or lesbian, or any other myriad of things that teach you that you're not good enough, you will tend to have blockades in your belief system about receiving, as much as we may want to. I always use the example of, there was a show on years ago, I think it was something about, it was like a transformation show. There were a couple of them, like 10 years ago, where kind of heavy, overweight people would work out and get in shape, and then ultimately, they'd come on stage and they look really amazing and beautiful, and then like a year later, they were heavy again. Because the inside didn't catch up. They worked on it outside, but some part of them still felt unworthy. In a similar way, you hear stories about people like winning the lottery and then being broke 5 years later, because something just didn't change internally. So so when this card comes up reversed in sessions with people, I often do talk about this with them, and I make some suggestions here for my followers here. Listen, it's important to look at the idea of where you have limited beliefs and blockades about receiving stuff that you bought as fact, which may very well not be. Certainly all the things about, being the wrong race or sexual orientation, all of that's nonsense. But again, society sometimes can push that idea, and then we believe that. So as much as we want to draw in and have a wonderful relationship and financial success and abundance and family and be fertile, sometimes we're blocked. And that's what this card brings up. So I always like to leave a solution, and this is often what I do with clients as well, and I'm going to share that here. What my advice is twofold. One, look at where you are blocked. Look at the things that you believe about yourself and see whether they're truly valid or whether you should hold them anymore. Secondly, you often, not only do you have to learn how to receive, which is something you can ask your spirit guides and your higher self to train you to do, to get more comfortable with receiving, but you also have to have a larger vessel. Meaning sometimes we have that smallness and we have to be willing to accept a large amount of abundance. We can't pour abundance at something that's not able to receive it. And sometimes that's ourselves. And then I have a simple mantra that I like to use to share with people. And that is, a good mantra is, I now comfortably, joyfully receive good in my life. I am comfortable with receiving good. I accept goodness. I accept the positive and the abundance to come my way. And I do this comfortably and easily. This is a good mantra, and even say it out loud a few times a day. Get up in the morning and say it. Begin to retrain yourself, and that will correct this Empress energy. And also in a simple way, listen, when other people have success, celebrate it for them, because they're showing you a path that you can take to your own version of it, rather than feel like someone got something that you didn't have. So that's really important. So I'm going to be, we'll leave this here. And subscribe, certainly comment if you've had any blocks or issues with this here in the comment section. And also, I am just beginning my audio recordings of all the tarot card interpretations over on my Buy Me a Coffee site. So go check that out. The first couple of ones explaining the archetypes are going to be free. And of course, I'm going to have to set that up for subscribers for more of it. But it's very inexpensive to subscribe over at Buy Me a Coffee. I'm going to put some information in the comment section here about that. So here's to opening up to abundance, having more of it, and not feeling guilty or bad about it, because it actually is a natural way to be. All right, cheers.